Hello. Alright, we are going to be starting with the first part of the painting the Black Reach Captain. Now, the first color, because I play Ultramarines, is I'm going to start with is the blue foundation, or Mordian blue. So, I'm going to shake it up. Alright. I always start with the shoulder pads. It's just a thing that is with me. So if you can notice, he doesn't have much for shoulder pads, unlike most other Space Marine commanders. So, I'm going to then get my Mordian blue. If you're wondering if you actually saw that, that was just to get a tip on my brush. I don't like to eat paint. I actually don't like the taste whatsoever, so... But I want to try to get a tip so I can get the best detail. Now, you don't want to go thick on this either. Going thick and watering down your paints helps a lot. I always run on the faucet, put 3 drops. Run on the faucet, turn it off, and then you get drops. With the drops, it waters down your paints and you get better it's not like you get better detail, it doesn't look as bad if you overdo it, which you never want to do, is overdoing it. So I got that shoulder done, and this is just the base. This is just a based thing. It's a 3-color process where you start with the Mordian blue, then the wash, then the paint itself. Probably can't see that. So you go wherever there's armor plating with the blue. And you don't even have to base your models. I like to base my models just because I also use other colors that actually need to be abased. So, and that's what he should look like on his shoulders. Now I'm going to turn off the camera just to because this is going to take longer than I have film time. So when I'm done, I'm actually going to show you the end result. So, see you. Alright, when you got the shoulder pads done and you move on, you're going to want to move on to the arms. Now, the arms are pretty straightforward. Just paint them green, or blue. But you're going to have to watch out for the gaskets, which you see very closely. There's a black band there. That's the gasket of the armor. So you're going to want to not paint that. Also, if you look very closely, his hand itself, the inside, also has like a black meshy material, like it's a glove. So you also want to keep that black. I also got this arm. You're going to want to really pay close attention to what is the arm, what is his rest of his body. And really, you then start with that. You then want to go down to the chest plate, and whatever's on the chest plate, which I'm actually going to do right now. So, I'll show you the finished result. It takes as long as I thought, but you want to get his neck guard and that little patch of armor there, and that should be done with his torso. You then want to move on to his legs and feet, which by then you should be done, and you will be done with the Mordian blue. So I will show you the end result of the legs. I also got done I finally got done with the legs. Now these leg parts, it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to put in the light. They're it has a lot of detail that you should really pay attention to, like that little star thing that's right there, and a little black thing on the leg. Now you're probably thinking, all right, cool, I'm finally done. You still have couple more steps to go. You go then to his back. Now my guy doesn't have a backpack. Backpack is over here. Backpack is planning to be the same color, but I do the backpacks last, as its own separate standalone piece. What you want to do is this backpack gasket, though, because if you ever take a Space Marine and you turn it over like this and the gasket's not painted, it just looks bad. Also, this back part where there's this Aquila and then there's this back part that's part of the armor. So you really want to paint that up. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. I got done the gasket for the backpack and that part right there. Now, it's not the entire 2 rings that are there. One of them's part of the cape, or the cloak, and the other is actually his armor. So I actually did his armor part. Now, before I move on, there's one thing that you gotta really consider, which is, what is your base color? Now, I said before, base coat's not important if you use foundation first, which you really should. But if you don't, you're really gonna want to look at how bases go. If you are a foundation painter, but you've based all your models for some reason, or you want to, because, I mean, I will admit they look better based than just their pure color, you're going to want to go to black, because the base adheres better to black. But then there's a brand that you're going to want to stay away from called Armory. Armory paints will cause this little fuzzy, gritty stuff that the paint doesn't really adhere that well to. There's another brand, Board to Pieces, if any of you have that. That has a very glossy, it's not very, very glossy, but it has a glossy, and that's actually very good. A lot of my models were based with it, and my army's mostly painted. I'm just now doing like these standalone guys. Anyway, what I was saying was that if you just want this, get a black. The GW paints also do good. You're going to want to get something that runs smooth. Another thing is that if you're just a pure wash person, these Citadel washes, which I really like, if you're a wash person, you're going to want to either wash it or base it in. You're going to need to base it. You have to base it. You want to base it in white or gray, or a grayish white, like an ash. And then you will get the best performance out of your wash if you do that. Now, while I'm on the subject of wash, the next step is, for the blue, is the wash. And the wash that you're going to want to use is the blue wash, which has a fancy name, Esserman Blue. Esserman. So I am going to wash it. Now, with washes, and I'm actually going to show you this portion. Washes you want to do thick, because washes don't really affect the thickness or how thick your paints go. They really, really affect how dark and how realistic it looks. So, when you get your brush, make sure there's nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. No water, no nothing. And then you want to dip it in. You want a bulb about that big of the wash. And that will get a pretty, not big, but pretty okay sized area. I'm going to start with the shoulders. Alright, now that the wash has been applied, you want to set it down because it is drying. I'm actually going to end the armor segment because I don't like to dry brush with ultramarine, or put the detail, because you're not going to see that from a tables board. You're just going to see what you see. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get.